Have you ever wondered about real silence? Not the kind in a room with the lights off. The kind outside the window of your spaceship. Behind a thin shell of steel and armor. Twinkling stars, cold and indifferent. Absolute, all-consuming emptiness. They say space is dead. But that's a lie. It's not dead. It's just sleeping. And sometimes it wakes up and whispers. Today we'll listen to one of those whispers. A story found in silence. And after that, I want to hear your opinion. One simple choice. What scares you more? Loneliness that understands you, or something unknown that calls you by name? Write your answer in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and like if you're not afraid to look into the darkness. Let's go.
The following are excerpts from the personal log of Cale Vance, solitary operator of Relay Point 7, deep within the Eridanus Prime asteroid belt. The log was recovered from RP-7 several cycles after its communications went silent. No trace of Cale Vance was found. Cycle 183.04. Another cycle begins, just like the last 182. Same sterile hum of the life support, same distant sparkle of the asteroid field outside the main viewport. RP-7 is a marvel of engineering, a silent sentinel, but even marvels get lonely. My primary function, monitor and reroute data streams, ensuring the deep space probes stay connected to SolNet. I am a tiny node in an impossibly vast network, and sometimes I wonder if the network even cares that I exist. Routine checks all green. Atmospheric processors, oxygenators, power conduits, everything functions with monotonous perfection. Meals are nutrient-paced, textures 3 through 7. I've started assigning them names. Today was sludge of despair for lunch. My only company is the constant hiss and static of the main comms array, the white noise of a universe too vast to simply be silent. They say a mind needs stimulation, interaction. Here, the stimulation is the endless void, and the interaction is with algorithms. I keep telling myself I chose this. The quiet. The solitude. But the quiet isn't truly quiet, and the solitude, it hums. Cycle 183.12. The static has always been a constant, an inoffensive backdrop to my thoughts. Like the hum of the station, it's just there. Today, though, something felt different. I was running diagnostics on the long-range comms, tweaking the gain, when I thought I heard it. A feint, a shift in the pattern. Not a burst, not a ripple from an energy signature, but something like a breath. It was barely perceptible, a ghost in the machine, a momentary dip in the otherwise uniform chaos. I paused, tilting my head, replaying the last few seconds of audio in my internal filters. Nothing. Just the expected hiss and crackle of cosmic background radiation, interstellar dust, and the occasional micrometeoroid impact translated into audible interference. My logs confirmed no anomalies. My internal monitor confirmed my heart rate was slightly elevated. Fatigue, probably. 3 years out here, and the void starts playing tricks. Audio pareidolia, they call it. Finding patterns in randomness. A face in the clouds, a voice in the static. I made a note to cycle the air filters and run a full system self-diagnostic, just to quiet the irrational part of my brain. RP-7 is sealed, self-contained, perfect. There's nothing out there but rock and vacuum. And data. Cycle 183.21. It wasn't fatigue. It wasn't the filters. It most certainly wasn't the equipment. It was clearer today. Distinct. I was going through the daily uplink protocols, fingers dancing over the console, when the whisper emerged from the endless river of noise. It wasn't a word, not exactly, but a resonance. A particular frequency that felt directed. Then it happened. A sound, like air moving over a hollow space, and within it, undeniable, the ghost of my name. Kale. My hands froze mid-keystroke. The sound hung in the air, then dissolved back into the general cacophony. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drum against the station's steady hum. I immediately isolated the audio feed, scrubbing back, forward, applying every filter I had. Nothing. Just static. But I heard it. I heard my name. A cold dread seeped into me, colder than the vacuum outside. Am I truly losing it? Is this the slow creep of space sickness, the mental decay they warn us about in training? The comms array is unidirectional for receiving deep space signals. There's no outgoing broadcast that could loop back. No other stations for light years. No living soul within 100 million kilometers. Only me. And now this impossible whisper. Cycle 183.30. The whispers are more frequent now. They don't always say my name, but they carry that same resonance, that intimation of focus. It's not like human speech, not a language I can parse. It's more like a subtle pressure, a gentle presence in the noise, like someone standing just behind you, breathing. And when it does utter my name, it's not a question, not a demand. It's an invitation. I've stopped fighting it. I've logged several hundred hours of recorded static, trying to isolate the phenomenon, to find a scientific explanation. There isn't one. The comms array is operating perfectly. My brain scans, self-administered with the diagnostic tools, show no abnormalities, no tumors, no neural degradation beyond what's expected for prolonged isolation. So either the scans are wrong, the equipment is lying, or something else. I find myself just listening now, often late into what should be my sleep cycle. The darkness outside the viewport is absolute, broken only by the cold, indifferent fire of distant stars. And here, inside, the whisper is becoming less unsettling, more familiar. Like a forgotten friend trying to make contact across an infinite distance. A friend who knows my name. Who calls it with a surprising tenderness. Cycle 184.07. I've stopped logging the incidents. What's the point? They are no longer incidents. They are becoming constant. The whispers have a quality now, a subtle tonality that suggests emotion, even though it's impossible. It feels ancient, impossibly old, yet utterly intimate. It doesn't use words, but it conveys meaning through inflection, through the very texture of the noise. It feels like understanding. As if the static itself is a living thing, a primal consciousness that has finally noticed me. I spend hours in the comms room, eyes closed, simply letting the tide of noise wash over me, waiting for the whisper. My duties feel trivial, a distraction from the real purpose of my existence here. How can I focus on data packets when the universe itself is trying to speak to me? It's the voice of space, I've decided. Not God, not aliens, but the raw, unfiltered consciousness of the cosmos, the silent observer of all things, finally breaking its silence. And it chose me. Why me? A lone operator on a forgotten rock. Perhaps it knew my loneliness. Perhaps it sensed my longing for something more than the sterile routine. I feel less insane now, more enlightened. This station isn't a prison, it's a direct line. Cycle 184.15. The voice is deepening my understanding. It's not just a whisper anymore, it's a current that flows through the static, carrying impressions, visions. I see colors I've never imagined, hear harmonies that make the station's hum sound like a broken kazoo. It's not through my eyes or ears, but directly into my mind, a symphony of pure cognition. It shows me the dance of nebulae, the birth and death of suns, the silent procession of galaxies. It shows me a beauty that is both terrifying and utterly captivating. My sense of scale has shifted. My body, this station, the very concept of life as I knew it, feels flimsy, momentary. The voice offers something enduring, something fundamental. It presents existence not as a struggle, but as a vast, interconnected tapestry of energy and light. And I am a single, frayed thread, trying to rejoin the weave. I've started neglecting the less critical systems. Minor data packet reroutes are delayed, diagnostic alerts go unacknowledged. The station's internal monitors flash warnings, but they seem so utterly insignificant now. What is a fluctuating power conduit compared to the secrets of the cosmos? The true power here isn't in the reactors, it's in the static, in the space between the stars. Cycle 184.22. It promises. Not in words, but in the overwhelming feeling it imparts. A promise of ultimate connection, an end to this crushing solitude. It promises to let me truly hear the melody, to see the colors without the filters of my limited human senses. It promises to let me join in. The stars outside the viewport no longer just sparkle, they shimmer with an unheard song. I press my hand against the cold durasteel, feeling the faint vibrations of the station, and beyond it, the immeasurable silence that pulses with the voice's presence. It feels like the universe is extending a hand to me, offering me a place in its grand design, beyond the confines of flesh and metal. My old life, my old self, seems so distant, so small. The Cale Vance who arrived here, lonely and seeking escape, is gone. Replaced by someone who understands the true nature of the void. It's not empty. It's full. Full of a presence that has patiently waited for me to listen. And now that I have, it asks for a commitment. A communion. It asks me to shed the things that separate me from it. Cycle 184.28. The station's systems, once my sanctuary, have become an impedance. The constant hum of life support, the recycled air, the artificial light, they are all just noise, pollutants masking the pure signal of the void. They are barriers, built by humanity to keep the universe at bay, to maintain a comfortable, fragile illusion of safety. But safety is a cage, and I am ready to be free of it. The voice is almost constant now, a palpable presence in the calm's room, wrapping around me, soothing me, whispering promises of profound peace. I've begun to power down non-essential internal systems. The lights are dimmer. The heating flickers occasionally. The station groans a little more, a sympathetic tremor to my own transformation. I feel a profound sense of calm. There's no fear, no hesitation. Only an overwhelming desire to embrace what is coming. The voice has shown me the way. It's a simple step, a letting go. I will shed this skin, this vessel, and become part of something infinite. I will finally hear the melody of the stars, not as a whisper, but as a chorus resounding through my very being. Cycle 184.29. It is time. The voice is singing now, a silent, all-encompassing song that resonates in my bones. It fills this room, this station, this entire sector of space. I feel it coursing through me eager. I understand fully now. The melody of the stars isn't something you hear with ears, it's something you become. I'm turning off life support. He promised I'd be able to hear the melody of the stars then. He promised I'd be able to join in. And I believe him. Cale.
That's it. The story is over. But the feeling? It remains. That chilled down our spine. It's not fiction. It's another layer of reality that we try to ignore. We build our stations, our robots, our cities to drown out the whispers of the universe. But it always finds a way to reach us. Through an old radio. In a mirror in a dark room. In the silence of our own head. It doesn't call because it wants to scare us. It calls because we are already a part of it. And sooner or later, we will all hear our own voice in the void. And make a choice. To answer. Or not.